soon. The first thing that we have is approval of the minutes that were sent out. Did everyone have a chance to read those?
Yes.
Any additions or corrections? The motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Point of order, who's taking minutes?
So I was going to go into that a little bit. So Mary's not here today. So this device here is called an owl.
Oh,
So Brian's recording,
okay.
and then we will post later on. And Mary, so here's the deal. And I apologize, we didn't get the agenda up sooner. I was on vacation last week. Mary's mom has been on hospice now for about 10 days. So, and it's kind of coming down to the end, I believe. You know, I've been talking to Mary every other day. So her mom's resting peacefully right now, and the family's all there with her. So, you know, Mary said, yes, we'll do. So that's why Mary's not here tonight. So
could you give us an address, and I'll make sure we get, and could you let me know if it appears that things are in. If
sure.
it does occur, let me know, and I will get a card number from.
Yes.
Yeah. Just let me know when and
sure. We'll do that. Try to get that to you by tomorrow.
Is her name Dudley? Or
Mary Dudley, yes.
the mother.
Oh, the mother. No.
well, no, it would be.
Yeah.
Well, you can
I think it's Hay. Mary went to, I'm trying to think, she went to DeBerg High School, so she's a South. She grew up South. She's got two sisters and a brother. So,
well,
the
you can
family's
let
all
me know
there.
because she may not pass away for a few days.
Sure.
And I just want to send a sympathy letter.
Sure.
So, okay, all right. If there's nothing else, then let's go to you.
Okay, director's report. I brought along the annual report. Pass those down on this side. Take one. No, grab one of those. Yep. And then, so that just got published. Molly Olton put that together for the department. You're welcome to take that with you and check it out. So this is Molly's third one. She does a nice job with these. So kind of follow the format that we were using, but she's put her own touch on it as well, pictures, park facts, and things like that.
I got you.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to hand out.
Oh, this is
Give it to
very,
them.
very good. Flowers in here.
8.8 million.
For
That actually generated.
oh, okay.
And I bet that actually record since it was pandemic related, right? People were flocking to the parks, I think.
Well, I think that's more of what we do right there. That was from a survey we used with Terry Jones from Ansel. So that's a little bit of the data here. I mean, we don't do the passive attendance. Brian right now is working to get some trail counters purchased. So we get those from trails to start doing a little bit. So we have a little bit more accurate numbers on use there.
It's nice to see that the number of new hires outweigh the retirements. That's good. That's very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So next on the agenda was the coronavirus updates. Nothing has changed since we met in May. Staff inside buildings that are interact with the public are asked to still wear masks, such as at the control desks. They don't know who is and isn't vaccinated. The pools, day camps, and the soccer complex are all doing very well. The soccer complex just hosted the Midwest Regional Championships with 212 teams from 12 states here at the park from June 25th to the 30th. I know I stopped by there the first weekend, and it was very well attended, and people were having a good time. So our picnic shelters also are experiencing high usage with a vacancy hard to find. People are opting actually for picnic sites sometimes because shelters are booked up. Good thing for us.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike. Need an agenda?
Yes, please. Is there any talk, concern, etc., with the variant as far as children and Matt? Because I know they were sitting recently about children, whether children are fasting or not. Is there anything?
Nothing's come out of our health department at this point.
We are requiring indoors, like camps, kids wear masks indoors but not outdoors.
And that was same as in May.
Yeah.
Nothing new has come forward. Construction project updates. The Lee May Park restroom building has been in design. It's now in permitting. It's received fire marshal approval. We anticipate a fall construction date on that. That was the one that burned down there in the park a while back. Playground resurfacing projects at Creed 4, Love, McDonald, and Susan will start the first week of August. We're going to try to add 2 parks to that. I think our budget will allow that at Endicott and at King.
Is it Ford Place or?
That will be, yes. Most of what's being, at least some of them I know are tiles right now, and they're the older.
But the new material, it's poured in place, but it's a bonded rubber. It's not like the granule. It's like, looks like mulch.
Okay.
It's the nicer.
Yeah.
That's not a clean.
No, it's not. No.
Right. Queenie's got the gravel stuff. The south sidewalk design is still at Chesterfield for review. The Spanish Lake Land and Water Conservation Fund grant is ongoing. The front gate pillars are completed. I'll send a picture around here of that work. That was an in-house project by our carpenters. The gates will go behind the stone pillars. The trail work there at Spanish Lake should begin in August with our park trades doing the work. The Creed Core Dripping Springs restroom up here on the other end of the lake. The pump is delivered. They're wiring it up. It should be open next week. Brian's got a key. Anybody's interested, we can go check it out after the meeting. It's one of those prefab units. So that comes out in 2 pieces and they put it together here at the park. And it's all concrete, including the roof. The Susan salt storage bin is out for design right now, or is out of design right now and in permitting for review. The Thilda Park restroom and spray pad, the restroom is completed and there's a change order that I just signed yesterday for the spray pool. There's about 2 weeks of work left for that project. Projects in design include the trail along the Merrimack River in Simpson Park. We're moving the trail in away from the bank because of flooding and issues we've had there with the trail. Greensfelder Park, the new parking lot for the additional property is in review at Wildwood. The sewer connection in JB Park for the 533 building and the maintenance building is in design. There's IFBs being prepared for the Afton Community Center and the St. Vincent Community Center roof replacements as well. Any questions?
We'll talk about Greensville later on.
Greensfelder, yes, it's a little bit further down the agenda.
I'm sorry.
Greensfelder Rec Center.
Yes.
I put that on there as a separate item.
That's right.
Did you mention the total parking?
Yes, it did. The restroom is, the restroom is installed and I just signed a change order yesterday for work on the spray pool.
Cool.
That's got about 2 weeks worth of work left to it.
Okay. That's the main construction.
Yes. To me, yes.
There's 2 weeks worth of work, but there's 2 weeks they have to get the materials in. But Tom just signed the change order yesterday. They'll get the materials in, and they have about a month left, and it should be open.
2 weeks waiting to do 2 weeks work.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. No, we don't have my son's birthday party. So at the beginning of August, we're like, that's fine, let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Looking good.
I'll try to speak up.
No.
I'm sorry. So you have this order to sign change orders? Up to a certain amount or just?
It's, yes, it's a percentage of the project.
Okay.
But it still had to go through review with diversity. So that's what a lot of the holds up were, because it was a pretty good sizable change order.
So winter park or
Simpson Park. Right there where the trail along the river there where it joins Kirkwood. You know where the RC park is there? It's right there. Yeah.
It's
A little further down.
This one made it raised.
in the middle of a farm or something, or take it out so they, because otherwise they go to the people.
I think we're thinking of something else. This is right on the edge of the bank of the river, so, yeah, it had to be moved back.
It's the rivers.
Eating away the bank.
It's all almost fallen in the river. It's actually probably half on Kirkwood and half on us, but we're taking the lead on getting it done.
Getting it done.
Not in this spot. The Simpson, the lake, Simpson Park was a quarry, but the trail that we're talking about goes right along the Merrimack River.
Parallels the river. Yep. Okay, the Park Foundation. The foundation was at the JV Blast on July 2nd with a booth. They were selling 4th of July memorabilia. They made approximately $4,000 that night. Work does continue on their 3 projects. The Kinlock Park, which received some press recently. I don't know if anyone saw that. To clean up the area. There is community interest in rebuilding the park as well, and they're networking with people in the North County area. Queenie Playground, we've got 2 signs up at the playground asking people to take a survey about the playground. They've got 40 completed surveys at this point, asking people what they'd like to see there at their playground. So Diane, if you're over there with the grandkids,
They're too old, but do you know what they're saying, what people are saying?
It's mixed, about what they'd like to see there, what they'd like to see stay, and what new amenities they would like to see there too. It's set up to take it with your cell phone. There's a QR code on the sign, so it's pretty easy to do. Yes. Nims Mansion, an open house is being planned for October for a public viewing, and again, that's going to be used to help the foundation raise some funds for that building, but also some public interest in it as well.
Are they planning to do Winter Wonderland this year?
Yes. It'll be the Wednesday before. I think it's I believe, I'll check the calendar, 17th of November, I think.
And will they do, I mean, will the foundation do their tent and
Yes.
the whole thing?
Yes. I think we're going to try to move it up to the Gloria Rogers shelter, though, this year. That's what we're going to try to do in 2020, but COVID stopped that. It ended up being canceled this last year.
Yeah, Jamie Glass, I just want to say great job.
Well, thank you.
Awesome time.
Yeah. They had about, and I got that a little bit further down too, but about 12,000 people was estimated to be at the event. So, yeah. I took a little video of it of just the bowl.
It looks like it was sort of about 2/3 of the way through. It looks like they had something happen during the fireworks. It kind of stopped. Everybody's like, okay, is that the finale? And then it started back up again. We're like, oh, okay, everyone had something going on there.
Maybe just a bit of a pause.
Was that on a bar?
No, it's set up in the field behind the Powder Magazine Museum up there.
Cool.
The Camp Wyman property dedication we had on June 24th. Thank you for those of you that could attend. It was a very nice day. We had about, I'm going to say 50 to 60 people in attendance. County executives, Conservation Fund, Open Space Council, Missouri Department of Conservation, Meissen Foundation all had representatives there and spoke as well.
I think there were at least that many people there.
Yeah.
There were quite a few people.
Yes. Things we're looking at, to do down the road again is the rock parking lot, and right now we've got mowed paths to connect to the other existing trails in the park. I did see neighbors there that attended as well that day. They're excited about it, and now they can, anybody on the east side of the park there can literally walk into the park on Forby Road.
If you go up that hill to the lake and over to that little arena at the park, it looked like they used to have trails going through those woods. They had a sign there that had something about trails. Kind of
Yeah, they used to have like a not a team challenge course. It was kind of like a group course for the Camp Wyman.
Camp Wyman used it, yes. So the remnants of that amphitheater were left over from them.
Okay. Kind of like trails.
They haven't put all the trails back in because it was overgrown, but that's a fall project. It's really not the best time of year to go put trails in.
2022 budget preparation is underway. We had our budget kickoff meeting in late June. The good news is the park department's not in the general fund. which they've got a zero growth budget right now. We have our own sales tax revenues, which is good for us. Our current sales tax revenues are trending higher right now, which is also good news. And department revenues are doing well with our reservations and programs and daily admissions. So we're happy about that. Right now we're working on capital equipment and capital project submissions. Everything for the budget will be turned in by August 13th. So we're going through our usual summer push to get that done.
That's what you're doing right now.
Fiscal primarily, but yes, Brian and I are also working on that as well. ARPA funding, I did mention this a little bit in our May meeting. We have created a list of projects. We have submitted what I'm going to call our 2 white papers for these projects, the Kennedy Pool replacement and the Creve Coeur Soccer Park Administration Building. We're using
ARPA, what is the acronym?
American Recovery Project.
Oh, okay.
Is it project?
It's federal.
It's federal money.
The federal stimulus.
Stimulus money.
Yes. Yes. And there are certain buckets of money. We are using the tourism guidelines to submit these projects under that. So these projects will be subject to outside legal review to see if they qualify. And right now we're in a waiting mode to see, kind of get some feedback on the papers we submitted before we, see what our next steps are.
Is, not to name dollar amounts, but is it just everyone is putting requests in that according to needs?
That still remains to be seen. From what I understand, county council is going to play a part in the award process.
So this is coming from the county and.
County has their own funds, just like the city of St. Louis does, and so Park Department, again, our team is submitted for a couple projects that we hope can qualify.
So county roads will submit
transportation would do theirs, yes, health, etc. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a finite sum of money, and the council will be involved.
I believe it's 192 million.
There's a lot of, you can't just put anything. There's lots of stipulations that they want. I think like some of it was like infrastructure for like sewers. That was like a big one.
Right, sewer and water was a big one. Tourism was one of the lines as well.
Internet,
so
accessibility,
broadband.
No, nothing that would stimulate employment or anything like that. Or
Greensfelder Recreation Complex. So this project was awarded to KNS Construction Company for $9.5 million. Staff met with KNS, Chiodini, and County Procurement and Diversity on June 23rd to discuss the project due to the cost of materials, especially for the roof. So they discussed some value engineering proposals for the roof materials so the project could move forward. After the award, I don't know if you've heard this in the news much, but material prices have been really escalating in this country. So there was fear on the contractor's part that he couldn't move forward. So again, a meeting was held with all these entities on June 23rd, and they're working through this. The good news is currently the construction trailer is set up. The construction perimeter fence is going up this week. The kickoff meeting was held last week. Permits were being issued on Monday, July 12th, this past Monday, and demo work, Toby Moriarty told me, is starting this week. So the project is getting off the ground and getting going, where they are anticipating an early 2022 completion date, probably like late February, early March. But I'll keep you posted on this project in our regular meetings. Any questions? Jefferson Barracks Blast, again, was touched on that briefly, held Friday, July 2nd. We had wonderful weather. It was in the low 80s for a high that day. The band was Sweetie and the Toothaches. They played from like 7 p.m. to like about 9:15. The fireworks were at 9:15. Had an estimated crowd of about 12,000 people. I had nothing I only had positive feedback on it. So Councilman Tracus from the 6th District was very happy with the way everything went. So everybody was
We
well
really lucked
behaved.
out.
Yeah, we did. It was one of the best blasts I think we've ever had for weather.
Because it rained like the entire week before. So.
Yes, and we were able to utilize grass parking in most places still. So
We couldn't park the low places, but we could park all the high spots.
yeah, we have come up with a road, a surface parking only. 2 years ago or 2 or 3 years ago, it got canceled because of rain. So we came up with a hard surface parking plan. No, just making it a one-way loop road all the way around and diagonal parking. It would not park as many cars, but you can still use all the hard surface parking at the shelters, athletic fields, and the pavilion at least. Park ball.
Tom and I drove around the park right at about 9 o'clock,
Yes.
and there was no parking left in the park, and there was still some people kind of trying to trickle in, but there was no more parking left. The park was full.
Yeah, football field, there was parking there.
Yes.
Is that where you parked up there?
No, we didn't park there, but we had a game, I guess.
Oh, okay.
On Monday, one of the guys picked up a pack of Newports. Oh, somebody, I'm like, please don't smoke.
Some people will park at Cartball and then carry their lawn chairs to that bank overlooking Gregg Road there, and they still can hear the music, but it's a good viewing spot. You can see the fireworks, and I think it gets them out of the park a little quicker.
Yeah.
Over too.
So, great job.
I heard the music was kind of lacking in sound. They didn't have their own sound equipment out for that area.
So we supplemented with our sound equipment for that. So
It's hard to outdoor concerts. You really have to have a lot of sound, and plus when you have that many people, it doesn't go very far.
Low Note Sinkhole, our engineer Toby Morty is working on an IFB, which is an invitation for bid. She's looking at 3 alternates right now for that. Filling in the hole with rock, grout filling it like we did 5 years ago, or filling in the hole and installing a pond liner in that arm of the lake. So she's working through that right now. She actually had an interview today with Kevin Colleen with, I think, KMOX this afternoon. He was doing a follow-up story, so you may hear that on the news this evening as well. But she's still waiting to hear from ODNR, too, from their initial investigation that they did back in May.
So is the solicitation for proposals, is that include engineering back?
She's actually talking to the design firm right now.
An independent firm?
Yes.
Okay. Not associated with anybody who's going to be putting a bid in. So there's just going to be engineering specs, and then contractor will bid on those.
It's kind of a design, almost like a design build. They're looking for 3 different options to see what we can afford.
And get the prices.
Okay. So it'll be all inclusive in the engineering part of the project that they're bidding on.
Well, yeah, 'cause, I mean, we already have the engineering for the last time with the grouting. It's basically the same.
Okay.
There's really not much engineering into it. There's the grouting what we did last time. That was just putting rock in there to make it safe, and then the lake is going to be that level. That's probably going to be the cheapest way. And then the other is
The pond liner.
Like a
That
pond.
would probably be the thing that's required most.
Yeah, they did look into the bentonite blanket. They said that the holes are too big that it would just take it down with it. So.
Would you say midnight blanket?
Bentonite, it's a yeah.
And I do have one add-on. Just when I was driving in here, it made me think of it. The Creve Coeur Prairie here. This is if you recall, the donation from the Missouri Prairie Foundation. She had gotten the grant. Work on that is starting. It came in. The field right across from here is now mowed. They'll be spraying it a couple times yet this year. And she's awarded the bids to a company for the planting and all the work. Straight across that area.
Yep. You can see the grass across the street. Yesterday it was 3 or 4 feet tall.
Is that what did they originally think
48.
they built the blues?
That's it.
That's the same spot.
If you drive out when you come out of this parking lot, straight across is that's where it was.
Then it's a 40-acre field. It's a pretty good sized area.
We're going to put signs up next week because as soon as I'm surprised we're not getting complaints now for mowing the field down, but we'll put up signs because especially when they start spraying it to kill everything off, we'll start getting complaints.
All right. Did the disc golfers want to get in that?
They are actually already over there. The parking lot across the street here, that's where the prairie is supposed to start, but there's 5 disc golf holes on this side of the parking lot, and they're going to make fairways inside the prairie.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're going to work together. And,
yeah. That's
Yep.
excuse. Yeah.
We got similar two things.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that all.
Cut fairways as well.
I wouldn't want to lose this.
I wouldn't go get it.
Yeah.
That's all I have, unless you have other questions.
Anything anyone had?
No.
Okay.
Is there this is a general, is there a new sport you play on the volleyball court? Looks like a medicine ball or like a small beanbag chair. I saw a bunch of younger people having great fun across the lake. It was like, they're using that. What would you this big ball?
I'm not sure.
I've never seen that before,
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Maybe they were improvising because they didn't have all.
You had something that's not about this, but we
Well, I know, yes, around here is where the 12-year-old drowned. I didn't see any other signs for up, or it's just, I know there's a place in there.
Sure. So there was 17 signs up that day, and now there's 23. So the park supervisor did install 6 additional signs.
It's basically a sign every 50 feet or 50 yards.
And rangers will write, well, they will give a warning the first time, and that does go into a computerized system. In their second time, they will be issued a summons.
Just every
50 yards.
Was he or she, were they just swimming, or were they engaged in kayaking, or?
No, they just wandered into the water and they had adults there as well, is my understanding from talking to the rangers. So, 2 cousins, and they got in over their head.
We are updating all of our signs. Right now, these signs all say just no swimming, and it has the county parks logo on it. We're changing it to just say, it says no swimming or wading, and it has the international logo with the, no swimming with the hash through it, and it's got the county ordinance on it. We're doing it here and at Sherman Beach and a couple other places where we're having problems with George Winter, places where people swim.
Any feedback or fallout from the article and post about rangers?
I looked at I was out of town that week, but I looked at the public comments as well, and they were okay, so, yeah, I mean, I thought the article had some pro and con in it,
Was he authorized to speak to the media?
So, the media had set that up with us previously, and he was the ranger on duty that got selected to go talk to them.
Okay, so you guys knew about that ahead of time?
Yes.
The story wasn't that bad. It's the title was misleading.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they wrote it that way because it drew you in to read it, but it was a misleading title.
Yeah, it had some negativity that I didn't think was very accurate.
Right.
They could have picked a better ranger. Agencies.
The person we wanted to do it, she wasn't available. She wasn't on this shift that day.
I wouldn't say new requirements, but just the load that is expected or expected of them. That means they're used to something. Yes, it does draw out.
But I think that's part of what is emphasized too.
Right.
My
salaries for 40s?
32.
Oh, it's 32.
Full time?
The biggest issue I had with the story was they said they get pulled away to do programs or to do fishing camp or whatever, but that's part of their job. They do programs, they do protection. So,
Not pulled away,
yeah.
Right.
It's part of their portfolio.
Right.
Anything?
Fall back or just, I heard up the way they had a kid that, stuck up in the trees, along one of the courses.
Okay.
That came back to.
No, it did not come to the office.
Starts with the fire department. And then, we got to try it, they got stuck too.
How'd you hear about that?
I just.
You can say. Okay.
How do you get it down?
Fire department.
Yes. Wow.
Is the Go Wave facility still viable financially and popular?
We put a junior treetop adventure course in over the winter time, and it's doing more business.
Okay.
It's very obvious when you drive in the front of the park. It's right there.
You'll see it.
Yeah, oh no, I've seen it.
I mean the junior course.
Oh, the junior course.
It's right next to the road. Yeah.
Well, not the entrance to the park, but as you go into the park, you'll see it
Just past the
close
bathroom.
to the road. Yeah.
It's attractive. It's not ugly. It's attractive.
Yeah, okay. How long is the lease with Go Wave?
Goodness, I'd have to look.
How long
It
have they
started
been
in
operating?
2013, 14. I'm going to say 2013. So it's probably got a 25 or 30.
It was a fairly long lease.
Yeah.
It wasn't 100 years.
No,
It was 99, but it was fairly long.
How much does it cost to do this?
It's like $25.
Oh, I think it's more than
More than
that.
that,
It's
40.
around 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
My son took his daughter, and then I had our neighbor take an out-of-town granddaughter, and it was fairly, I can't tell you that, but it was fairly expensive. It wasn't.
To go through it takes about 2 hours.
Oh, no good.
Yeah.
It's intense.
Really? Oh, I thought it was just like a little,
No.
just that stuff, I was like, $50.
There's like five stations, and you go through a series of what I'll call obstacles through the treetops, and then the last is a zip that takes you to the ground, and then you go to the next station.
That's cool. All
I'm thinking,
60.
Okay.
I'm thinking it was about 45 when they did it, but they're both 18, and they were 12.
10 to 15-year-old.
If you leave out of here, drive through the. If you come out, you make a left on Dorset, pull into the upper part of the park, about a quarter mile in, and you'll see it. It's on your left.
I've seen it like a while.
You did it.
I have done it, yes. It was fun, but because there are points where it's like, you're the upper one. So it's a good workout.
That's why I had a teenage girl take the 10, 11, 12-year-old, or whatever she was, and then the dance. They were. What, anything else? Any other new business?
Staffing shortages still a major issue, or?
We did do some adjustments to salaries for the maintenance driver series, so to help that situation, but there's still vacancies on the asphalt crew right now. So we're working on that.
For recruit for
For part-time people, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Minimum wage will go to $14 January 1st for count staff. So that'll help a little, hopefully. It was 12, then it went to 13. It's going another $1 this January 1st.
That's good.
I'm sure it's hard to keep for the construction.
Right.
It's hard to compete with like Target or Would you want to? I mean, be a laborer in a park, which sounds great, but it's a lot of work. Or you can work at McDonald's or something.
Right. There's shortages pretty much everywhere.
Oh, yeah. So,
Any restaurant. Ryan, do you have any?
After you're done, if you want to go check out the new restroom down in Dripping Springs, is straight down here by the rental for the boat rental. We can take you in there. It's very interesting because the sewer, there's no sewer. The old bathroom was on septic. This one gets pumped in a 2-inch line from there over 2 miles down to 141 down here. So there's a pump. It pumps into a pit, and then the waste, if it builds up, then it gets shot down, high pressure, shot down to
Because there's no gravity.
no gravity. It's high pressure pump.
What's all the digging work over there?
There's a culvert that the water comes down the hill from Marine. There was a culvert underneath the parking lot and the trail, and it got clogged up. We tried clearing it out. There's a big problem, so we're having to replace the culvert. They're going to put in a 4-bay on the other side of the road, on the other side of the parking lot, which will collect the sediment, so the sediment doesn't get into the pipe, so we won't have to clean it out in the future.
One thing, did you all see the email that Erica has resigned?
I didn't see that either. I don't know.
Yes, it was in one of the emails today.
Okay.
Okay, and
Colorado Springs?
Colorado.
Colorado. I think it's Colorado Springs.
Right, and so I'm looking at the members. We have 3 from District 2, 1 now, District 3, 1 District 6, 2 7. So would there be thought adding more?
Yes. So it's working with the county administration to fill those vacancies.
2 is probably the one that we do not need more.
Right. We'll notify them of her vacating the spot.
There are 2 from 4. There's 1 from there's Michael, Darren, and Jerry from 4. From 2. And then I'm from 3. And 6 is Otto, 7 is Dennis, and 5.
What was that, Eric?
She was 3.
We don't have anybody from 4.
No.
Well, 5, right?
We have 2, 3, 5. 2, 3, 6, and 7. We don't have anybody from 1, or 4, or 5. Okay, that's it. We don't have anybody from those.
What's the number to have a full board?
I think it's 9.
I have to bylaws. Anything anyone else has to ask Tom or Brian on this comment? Okay, well, our next meeting is September 16th, and I'm assuming you'll find a suitable place.
Do you have anything you want to see?
Any projects going on at that point in time? Get us that.
So the rec center is the biggest thing right now.
Yeah.
That would be good to go there.
Now.
Yeah, not right now. I'd give it a few months at least. That's why we met there last time. I wanted you to get a good look at it beforehand.
I like the on-site.
Yeah, when we look at the construction projects that are out there, I mean, see what might be a good
Spanish
place to
Lake
go.
would be a good one to see, but I don't think the trail will be done by then.
Yeah,
But
it wouldn't be
the
done.
mini
The front
Broadway
entrance
is really
would be
nice to see.
done, and, yeah, the new restroom and parking lot there at Mini Broadway. Be up on the other end of the county.
You know, one time, Tom, we took a few meetings and did drive-arounds. And, just looked at, we grouped them together and just drove through a couple, and 2 or 3 a meeting, whatever it should be. That was kind of interesting to begin to see where, and obviously we'd want to group them together
Sure.
to try to do it, but that was kind of interesting to see where they were and to see a little bit about them. Because some of us know the ones closer to us.
Like Spanish Lake, you could go Spanish Lake, Fort Bell Fountain, and Larimore Park, a small neighborhood park.
I'm very proud of Spanish Lake. If you haven't been up there, you need to go check out the upper parking lot. It's really, really pretty now. They did a good job.
Can you go in for those things? Okay, because I don't remember.
There's a gate there, but you can just tell them you're here for the park.
Yeah.
But that might be an interesting thing. Obviously, probably not in winter, but that might be an interesting thing to do in the fall and maybe in the spring.
Right. September can be pretty nice. So, then the nice thing at Fort Bell too is the prairie and the grand staircase. There's some interesting things to see there.
There aren't any like fort ruins or anything like that.
There's some ruins up there that I wouldn't say, I mean, it wasn't really like a fort.
Right. The fort
It was a
still-
military base.
Right. This was WPA project.
I've seen this staircase and stuff, and I think they took some rocks and built like a little shack or house or something.
Yes. There where they do the Eagle Days.
Yeah.
You're all welcome to join me for that meeting, but if you want to go to Hawaii.
You want to take us there?
Wow.
I'm low with search.
Yeah.
Search, I don't see
See down
why
Hawaii.
they could be in here.
Okay.
If not.
9 sticks in my mind, but I'm not saying that's right.
At some point, we just email them.
Yes.
I may have them in here, just have to go through them.
That sounds about right, because it'd be one for each district plus a couple at large.
But again, we're overloaded on 2. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, then could we have a motion for adjournment? Second?